Hey, you're listening to and watching the Dreux and Mia Podcast Show. I'm Dreux.
And I'm Mia.
Oh man, we have a lot to get into today,
Yep.
co-hosts. Oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
we're not gonna waste any time.
No.
You know, we always start our podcast off with honoring and celebrating our hometown heroes,
Of course.
and I think it's only befitting for us to honor and celebrate and thank everybody who pitched in to help Texas out during the winter storm.
Absolutely.
For everyone that traveled from Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, wherever. It was so many people that came to help deliver bottled water, food,
Yeah.
offer assistance, financial assistance, put people in hotels, all of those things. And, you know, it's just befitting for us to go ahead and honor those individuals. So if you're watching us, good evening to everybody that's watching on social media, Facebook Live, hello. If you all are watching, just know that the Dreux Mia Podcast Show, we thank you guys so much for stepping up, stepping in when Texas needed you the most. I know we're the largest state in the nation, and you know we have all of these prestigious people from Texas, but Texas was man down on last week.
Yeah.
During that winter storm, and it doesn't matter how big you are or how profitable you are, it just takes one little catastrophe to tear it all down.
That's right.
And that's exactly what happened. And we're going to get into that later on in the show. But I just wanted to honor and celebrate and thank everyone who stepped up and helped us
Absolutely.
in that time of need. We thank you guys so much for coming through and just being there when all of Texas, not just Houston, not Dallas, all of Texas needed you the most. Well, co-host, we have a very special guest
I see.
joining us today. I mean, he is the epitome of a living music legend. You know, we always see the stars, you know, on stage and in the news and all of that.
Yeah.
But it takes people behind the scenes to write the song, to
Right.
produce the song, to compose the song,
Absolutely.
to work with the artists,
To make you sound
to
good.
make them sound, you know, sellable. And that's who we have today. I mean, he's a living legend, living icon. We call him Onk. Been able to share with him, spend time, learn from him while he was in New Orleans. But I'm going to let him get into all of that. So if you all would help me, welcome to the Dreux Mia Podcast Show. None other than A Jeffrey LaValley. Hey, Onk.
Hey, hey,
Yeah,
hey.
yeah, yeah.
How are you
Yo.
doing? How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. I am great with all that's going on. I have no complaints.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Onk, you're in Flint, Michigan, right?
It's right, the land of bad water.
Wow, yeah, I know. We remember that whole Flint deal. I even remember we sent truckloads of water to you guys, and that was what,
Yes.
2017, 18?
Between 2014 and I think it was 2017.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I
Yeah.
know it was a while ago, but yeah, I remember that. I watched the news. I watched the show that Lifetime did.
Yeah.
They had a whole thing about it. But
Right.
yeah, I remember that. Well, I'm glad you are here. You're well. You're looking good, looking younger and younger
Thank
every
you.
time I see you. So go ahead and
Hey.
just tell everybody who you are, because there's a lot of people who tune in who don't have no idea who A Jeffrey LaValley is. So go ahead and just introduce yourself to our viewers.
Sometimes I wonder who I am. You know?
I know that's right.
I'm just a regular old down earth guy. I've been doing music for 62 years of my life.
Say that one more
So,
time for the people
music
in
is
the
my
back.
life. It's what I
Say that one more time for the people
Yeah.
in the back that didn't hear you, because I don't think they understood. How many years?
I've been doing music for 62 years.
Wow.
I'll be celebrating my 68th birthday in about 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So since the age of 6, you have been in it.
Since the age of 5.
Age of 5, you have been in it. Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
And it's the story is amazing. I'll give you the brief version. They bought the piano for my sister, and we had a revival at our church, and the evangelist was Bishop Milton Perry, who was died in Atlanta not long ago.
Oh, wow.
Prophesied over me that I would be a musician, and that I'd be a musician that would reach out to the world. And my dad said that no son of his would ever be a musician.
Wow.
My father, killed August 3rd, 1958, and I started playing in September.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Did that
And
like
ever since.
fill you up like, when he passed? That just kind of helped you to know that this is what you needed to do?
No, I was too young to understand what was going on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Even in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
In my later years, I kind of got the message that nothing stops God's plan.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing. So, you have to look at it in that manner, and you just keep on moving through what you have to do.
Yeah.
Wow. I love listening to those type of stories from legends and those who kind of paved the way. My co-host Onk is daughter of legendary singer, songwriter, producer, everything. Dr. Betty Nelson. Kojic. These are Kojic people.
Yes.
This is her
Yes.
daughter. So the stories and
Okay.
just listening to the come up, what they had to endure. I can do it all day, really. I can do it all day. But I
Now,
wanted people to know who you are because we're celebrating Black History Month, and it's not
one of
because
the
you're
people
old.
that I grew up with in Milwaukee used to babysit your father, Mother
Wow.
Willa Mae Smith.
Yeah.
And wow, this is amazing. This is amazing.
Wow, you know who Willa Mae is, co-host?
No, but I know my father has ties to Milwaukee. My mom used to go down there all the time
Yeah.
to do not revivals, but workshops at churches. down
Okay.
there.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, yep, we got legends in the house today, y'all.
Hey,
But we're celebrating Black History Month, Unc, and we wanted to, have
Awesome.
people on that have paved the way for many to come, underneath them and open the doors for them. And we've been able. Let me rephrase that. We weren't able to get those that we tried to because of the weather and scheduling conflicts of us having to reschedule, last week and whatnot. So
Right.
that caused conflicts with schedules, but I thought of you the entire time, and I'm like, wow, I definitely need to get Onk on the show because we're gonna get into your music, what you call it,
His resume.
the resume, all of that, the library, all of that, the whole thing, the whole shebang. We're gonna get into that because I want people to
Wow.
know that it's people like you that kind of put gospel music. We're focused on gospel music today. Put gospel music on the scene. Your time in New Orleans, you, in my opinion, Onk, have put full gospel on the map. You helped create that full gospel sound.
Yeah.
You helped create an image and a sound for Bishop Paul Martin because it was the choir and the power behind the choir that allowed him to be able to shine. And that's something that needs to be recognized. And, we always like to give flowers to whom is due while they're still here. So in my opinion, Unc, you are the lifeline behind the whole full gospel movement. And then those that came after you, like William Murphy and Tasha
Yeah.
Cobbs, and the list goes on and on and on. You created that sound, so we want to honor you in that respect and let you know that you helped change and create a whole movement, not only in music, but then in the whole culture, the whole gospel music culture. And then also we know
Couldn't have
that
done it without Big Mike.
could not done it without Big Mike Robinson. Man, we miss
Yeah.
Mike. We love Mike. He'll always be one that we always remember. And I'm
Yeah.
connected to his ex-wife, and his son on social media, and I can just see the years, the influence he's had on them. And what little Mike is doing, Mike Jr. is doing, and then even with the family pretty much.
Mommy.
Yeah, everybody's singing, everybody's in music, so
Right.
you see the influence that he's had on them. So rest in peace, Mike. We miss you, man. We miss you. But go ahead and tell people some of the artists that have sampled your music, because that will be very interesting for people to know.
Yes.
Well, one song was sampled. What's that guy's name? Bilal. His song "Give Me Something to Hold On To."
Mhm.
He say Bilal, like, yeah, Bilal.
I don't know these people. I've never met them, but they sampled my piano playing from one of Myrna Summers' albums,
Yeah.
the Give Me Something to Hold On To album. And most recently, Kanye West sampled Revelation 19 for his cut Selah on his last album, the Jesus is King project.
Right.
And then on his Jesus is Born project, he did the whole song, Revelation 19:1. So that was an honor for me.
Yeah.
Because that song is 36 years old. You know?
So what does it mean to you when you hear and see that caliber of artists sampling your music?
Quite humbling. Because for so many years, that song was like, we sang it in the churches and then it kind of fizzled out for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it made a total resurgence, not just in the gospel world or in the churches, but I mean, it's getting airplay now on secular stations and that type of thing. So it's getting a whole 3 generations later, it's got a whole new audience of people who are just being introduced to the song itself.
That's incredible. You know, I always wish that I could write a song that can carry over for generation to generation, but my little songs barely make it out with my generation. So I'm gonna keep trying.
What you have to understand is, if I had known 36 years ago that it would have done what it's doing now, I'd still be writing that song.
Exactly.
I said, so you never know. One of the things I've learned in doing this is you just do what you do.
That's right.
And when you get doing what you're doing, move on to the next project. And just make sure you're following the correct leading, and that is the leading of the Lord.
Absolutely.
If he'll take you to where people can't. And it may be 2 years, it may be 6 months, it may be 34 years. But if it's to be, it's gonna be.
That's right.
I received that.
Words of wisdom.
You have questions for our special guest co-host?
So what was your favorite or your most memorable artist to work with?
Myrna Summers.
And why?
Our connection was so strange. First of all, we connected at when Maddie Mouse Clark became the international directress of music. We connected at her first conference in Detroit, totally by accident.
Wow.
Myrna was there, and she was singing her arrangement of "I Surrender All," and another very, very prominent musician was on the organ playing, but they didn't know that the verse, Myrna's arrangement of the chorus, was switched to something totally different from the original, and the music stopped. And the funny thing about that is, I had been studying that album like wildfire for weeks. And when it got to the chorus and they stopped, I eased over to the piano and started playing. And Myrna looked at me and nodded her head, and I nodded back, and we rolled on.
Absolutely.
Finished out the song, and I went right back to my seat. We never exchanged any information, any contact information, anything like that, no numbers or nothing. And then at the workshop in New York, where she did "Oh How Precious," we ran into each other again, and she asked me if I would play the organ for her. Sure, I'll do it. And I played the organ for that. And again, no contact information. We didn't exchange numbers. But one of my friends, I didn't know was a good friend of hers, and she didn't know that he was a good friend of mine. And she told him, I wish I could get in touch with that LaValley guy that played on my album, that played on for me at the workshop. You know, I got his number. Jeffrey and I are good friends. Then there we met for I Found Jesus and I'm Glad. And we worked together for about 7 or 8 years.
You see how God worked, how God just made that connection. I was laughing because when you said that when she got up to sing and the musician didn't know the part that you knew, that is so funny because that's something that my mother does. Like, my mother is 73. And so if any of her children get up to sing, and let's just say, I think these contemporary musicians now, they were not made to learn hymns. And
Right.
so that's mostly all I know is a hymn. I'll pop out a hymn if I have to sing any day. And my mama is standing there and she's giving them the chord structure. And if they not moving as quick as she want them to, she'll hop and move them off the organ. And she don't play with it. And so when you said you did that, I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, this must be that old school church that
Yes.
I was not
Yeah.
here to play for you, but this was a God connection. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it was.
I love those kind of connections.
Absolutely.
It was, and like those type of things happen. I was brought up on hymns.
Yeah.
You know, my generation was, well, that's what we had, and you know, we had a hymn every Sunday, and it wasn't just what a fellowship or what a friend we have in Jesus. They pulled some things out the book, you know, spontaneously, and you had 3 seconds to catch it.
Yes.
Or somebody else was coming to that instrument and moving you out the way. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I love
That's
it.
amazing.
I
I
love
love that.
I love it.
I'm
I'm
gonna have
telling
to
you,
tell
this
my
is
mom I talked to you today.
a living legend.
Oh,
I'm telling
please
you, a
do.
living
Give her
legend.
my fondest regards, please.
I definitely will, because you know my mom is Maddie Moss Clark's protege. You know, she
Right.
wore her hair like her. She wore the chopsticks, like the big glasses, and
Because he lives.
because he lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember her. I remember her so well because Kojic is my background.
Okay.
I was brought up Kojic. My mom was a state supervisor in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I remember her very, very, very well.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I got my training from.
Wow.
The Kojic
See?
Church. Oh yeah.
I'm definitely gonna tell her I had a
Please
conversation.
tell them. That's why we have you on, Uncle. We want people to see a living legend. You know, especially gospel music, living legend.
Yes.
But as you see and you've heard, his music has traveled over onto the other side.
Yep.
And you got Kanye West, even though he's cool for Cocoa Puffs.
Lord have mercy.
We cannot take away the fact that he is one of the best rappers, one of the best musical minds out
That's
there.
You really can.
You can't
And
take that away
everything
from him.
that he said he was going to do, he did.
Yeah.
He said he was going to run for president. He did.
He did it.
He said
As
he
crazy
was going to
as it
marry
was.
Kim Kardashian. He did.
did.
So everything that he spoke,
Mm-hmm.
He did it.
And that's what we, as he can do that, then what about us folks that believe in Jesus?
That's right.
You know, what about
There you
us
go.
that are saved? Everything that we set our minds to do, we ought to be able to do it because we've got the power that dwells, well, anyway, within us.
You better
No,
preach
that's
up
true.
in here.
That's true. That's
Do
true.
that.
So you spend time, and I've seen it, you know, on your social media, on your Facebook page. You spend time with the younger musicians. You have
Yes.
younger musicians who play under your tutelage at your church. How is that? And you know, I guess the question is, do they know the impact that you're making on them? Do they ever come to you and say, "Hey, I enjoy spending time with you. I enjoy working with you. I enjoy learning from you"? Do you ever get that from them? Are they the type that's too big to give props to where it's supposed to be given?
It's not that they're too big. It's just that I'm just Jeff to them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
One guy, I started with him when he was 7 years old, and this year he'll be graduating from high school. But he's been playing for Sunday service since he was 11.
Wow.
He's great. He's focused, which is something you don't find from musicians his age. Most of them, they want to just practice the bump or whatever. No, he wants to
Practice the
it
bump.
all because he wants to be prepared to do
That's
service.
right.
Right.
You know, and that's what's important. I was trained as a kid, his age, to be a pastor's musician. And
That's
that's what he's going to be. When he grows up, he's going to be a pastor's musician
That's
because
right.
that's the path that he's following.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's very, very serious about what he does. And he's focused on it. And I really believe that God's hand is on his life to do what he does.
Wow.
So they just call me Jeff, and it doesn't bother me.
Wow.
For me, it's not a lack of respect or anything like that. I don't expect them to treat me like I'm some icon because I'm not. I'm just the minister of music at our church that we go to.
I mean, I guess that's another way to show respect. It's just to
Yeah,
be, simple. Just be simple with it, and not overdoing it and bowing down and all of that. Um,
right.
but if you were back home in New Orleans or even here in Houston, you'd be like, listen, that's a legend. Y'all make sure he got VIP parking. Y'all
Absolutely.
make sure he got security when he come through the door. Make sure he got water nonstop. Like that's the type of treatment we gonna give you out here, because that's what you
But
do for a legend.
but see, what you have to understand is, sure, you may call me a legend, whatever the case may be, but let me show you how I spell legend. Servant.
Yeah,
Servant. Wow.
that's
That's how
good.
I spell legend. I am a servant.
Yeah,
Okay, and I'm a servant not only to those older than I am, but to those that are younger than I am.
yeah.
The Bible speaks of he who is greatest among you.
Yes.
Let him be your servant.
Absolutely.
I don't have to have a special seat. I can sit anywhere in the building and be comfortable.
So you can
I
sit
don't
in a
have to
folding
be.
chair.
I can sit in the balcony and be just as comfortable as I would be sitting
Absolutely.
on the organ or on the piano,
I need to be
because
in the front so I can see.
I'm a servant. You need somebody to sweep the floor? Give me a broom.
That's it.
I'll do it.
That's
I
it.
mean, that's what I was taught to be. That's what I was trained to be. So it's not about being a star or being a celebrity, whatever. And when you spell star backwards, you get rats every time.
Uh-uh.
That's never gonna change. You know
Wow.
what I'm
Exactly.
saying? That's something that's
Wow.
gonna be permanent.
Star
So
spell backwards is rats.
oh yeah,
Jesus Christ.
every day.
Jesus Christ.
So it's a
And I don't
thing
want
of
to be a star
making
no more.
sure that I don't. My mom, when I was a kid, I had a bad attitude when I was younger because I really thought I was hot stuff.
Mm.
And one day she called me and she said, "Come here," and she took me in the bathroom and she filled up the sink with water, and she said, "I want you to pretend that this is every musician that has ever lived." Okay, I'm like, what is this crazy woman getting ready to do?
Right,
You know how
right,
you do your mom.
Mm-hmm.
right.
And she said, "I want you to stick your finger down in that water." And I stuck my finger down in the water. She said, "I pull it out." And I pulled my finger out of the water. And a couple of drops come. She said, "Now, how much is missing?" I'm like, "Well, none." She said, "And that's exactly how much you're going to be missed if you don't straighten your attitude out."
I know that's right.
Wow. Yeah,
And
you got
that
one of them old school mamas.
changed. Oh, yeah. That changed my life. That
Wow.
changed my life.
That's what
That's
some of these kids
amazing.
need today. That type of
They definitely do.
structure and discipline. Because these children these days, you make you want to just give up and start smoking weed, become an alcoholic, just start doing everything.
That's why I say all the time, I'm so grateful. I was talking to my mom the other day. I had to officiate at church, and I was just expressing to them that when we grew up, it was no asking us, did we want to go or did we want to do? It was you get
Oh,
up there and you do it. It wasn't, oh, I'm tired, I can't be there this Sunday. We just did it, and I really had to express gratitude and thanks to her for being
yeah.
that mom that made me go. Because had I
Yeah.
grown up any other way, I don't know who I would be. And so
Exactly.
the type of life that you have lived, speaks volumes, that when you can come in church and you can sit on the front, the back, the balcony, sweep, and but you have to get to that place in your life
Mm-hmm.
to
Oh, yeah.
where you are, Lord, I just want to be a servant. I don't need to be grand. I don't need you to bring me no water. I don't need you to do anything for me. And I couldn't understand that with my mother at the conventions. People would cry and want an autograph, and she would be like, you don't have to cry. She would hug people, and they would
Wow.
be standing in lines. And I was just a young girl, and I was like, what is wrong with them? I didn't understand
Mm-hmm.
that. But my mother was such a servant, and she said, God didn't call me to Hollywood. She
Yeah.
said, God didn't call me to the Grammys. God called me to be touchable to the people.
Mm.
And I
Yes,
did
indeed.
not understand that until my life shifted with the Lord. So I definitely appreciate the legacy and the story that you have brought to us today. Wow.
Bless you.
Living legend. I know you don't like being called that, but living legend. We gotta call a spade, Uncle.
Let's
Living
put it
legend.
this way. I'm living.
That's right.
And we hope that you stay living for a very long
Absolutely.
time. We don't need nobody else checking
Thank
up on out of here.
I know that's
Listen, it's
right.
been a lot.
It's been a whole lot,
Been a lot.
whole lot, man. Well, Unc, we appreciate you spending time with us. We love you. Don't be a stranger on our show. We're going to make sure that people know more about you.
Yes.
We'll have you featured on all of our social media platforms.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And just let the younger guys that's coming up now, they need to know that we have people like you right here. And they can reach out to you
Absolutely.
when they need that encouragement and inspiration, that advice, all of that. We want to make sure that, they know that you're here and you're very reachable.
And I want to be the one that they can reach out to, that they can talk to at 3 o'clock in the morning because they got a problem.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I want to be that one. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have that.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to be that one that they can reach out to if they just need a word of encouragement.
Yes.
I want to be that one.
That's what it's all about.
That's why I'm here.
That's what it's all about.
That's amazing.
Well, Unc, we thank you. We appreciate you. A Jeffrey LaValley, everybody. We'll have all of his contact information on our social media. Make sure you go to DreuxandMiaPodcastShow.com or go to @DreuxandMiaPodcastShow on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll have more information about our great Unc A Jeffrey LaValley. Thank you, Unc. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Bless you both. Bless you.